Okay, 7th graders, let's review what we're doing today, okay? So we're starting out with this lesson with comparing fractions, or I should say this chapter. And because this chapter we're going to be working a lot with fractions, okay? The first lesson is about comparing fractions. And you have to compare fractions using the same denominator. Remember, the denominator tells you how big the pieces are that you're working with. Okay? And so if you have one fraction that's in sixths and the other one that's in ninths, you know you have to get them both in the same, you have to use the same number of pieces, or the size of the pieces have to be the same in order to figure out if the amounts that each one has is bigger or smaller. Okay? So we have to find a common multiple of the denominator to find a common denominator. Common multiple is when you're counting by the numbers. So for example, if you're finding multiples of 5 and multiples of 12, one way is to list them and then find the lowest common one and circle it. Okay? Or 3 and 9, since 3 goes into 9, you know that's going to be the lowest common multiple. Okay? Let's take one like on your assignment. Number 4. I think it's number 4 that has negative numbers, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. What?
Number 4.
Number 4? Let's do number 4.
Yeah, this is
What did you put for number 4? To start with, what are the numbers we're comparing, Reese? To number 4. Negative 5/18 and negative 2/9. Does it matter where the negative sign is in a fraction? No, it makes the whole thing either negative or positive. Okay? If there's 2 negatives, this is on your assignment, isn't it, Asa? Yeah. You did this one already. Yeah. So I'm going to go through it with you to make sure that you understand it. Okay? So it doesn't matter where the negative sign is in a fraction. The negative sign will either make it negative or positive. How would the negative sign make it positive? If there's how many of them? If there's 2 or any even number. Okay? These fractions only have one negative sign, so we know that they're negative. Okay? Now, look at the denominators. 9 and 18. What's the common denominator? Or what's the lowest common multiple? Great. 18, because 9 goes into 18. So we can keep, when we're comparing these, we can keep the first one as negative 5/18, and then we have to convert 2 9ths into 18ths. So what would you multiply by? What would you multiply by, Sam?
2.
2. 9 times 2, 2 times 2, right? So negative 5/18 and negative 4/18. Now, you have to put a symbol between them to show which one is greater or less. Caleb. Negative 4/18 is greater. But negative 5 is bigger, isn't it?
Negative.
But it's more negative, which means it's further to the left on a number line. Okay? Negative 4 is to the right of negative 5. And so negative 5 is less than negative 4/18. Okay? Be sure that you get that concept. think about negative 5/18 is less than, is to the left of negative 4/18 on the number line, okay? Now, let's go back to your notes. There's one other concept that you have to know. And that is how to find the lowest common multiple when you're given some numbers. Okay? You have to write these down, yeah. Yep. The lowest common multiple. You're going to be asked this on a test. To find the lowest common multiple. Okay? So, we talked about on the first page how to find it. One way to find it is to list the multiples. And then circle the one that's the lowest one. Okay? But if you have numbers like 14 and 21, then you can't just see what the lowest common multiple is just from your knowledge of the basic facts. Then you might have to use this method. And it's to factor the numbers and then use, write this down, use the greatest power of each, okay, of each factor, sorry. So, when you multiply, or when you factor 14, you get 2 and 7, right? And when you factor 21, you get 3 and 7. And so you have to list, you have to use the greatest power of each of the factors to get the lowest common multiple. In other words, the lowest number that both numbers will go into. So, since we have 2s, 3s, and 7s, we have to use a 2 and a 3 and a 7 to get the number. 2 times 3 times 7. What's 2 times 3 times 7? What's 2 times 3 times 7? 42. 42. Does 14 go into 42? Yeah. Does 21 go into 42? Okay, good. Yep. Yep. Now, we also have to use the greatest power of each of the variables. Okay? Since it's a common multiple, we have to use the greatest power of the a's. This one is a to the first power. This one's a to the second power. So we have to use this one. A squared. Because a would go into a squared, right? But a squared wouldn't go into just a. We have to use a squared as our common multiple. Okay? Then, this is b to the third. This is b to the fourth. Which one should we use as our multiple? B to the fourth. So this is our lowest common multiple. It's the greatest power of each factor. Oh, you're right. Thank you. B to the fourth power. Okay? This is another example. Yep. 24 and 32. So this has 2 to the 5th. And this has 2 to the 3rd. And 3. So we have to use the greatest power of each factor. Okay? Any questions on this? All right, that's it.